Surfaces are shapes which are having only two dimensions and negligible thickness. As we are not at all considering the thickness, sometimes we may consider the thickness as the negligible thickness. So we can say any geometrical shapes. Sometimes it may be even in irregular shape also, but we consider it as a plane. But for learning purpose, so here we will be considering the geometrical shapes as a plane figures. Geometrical shapes as a plane figures. All of you know about the geometrical figures. So there are different types of geometrical figures. Today we are starting from a triangle, a rectangle, a square, then a rhombus, a pentagon, and a hexagon like that. So all these are known as a geometrical figures. So here, so plane surface means any surface or any shape without thickness, or this surface which is having only two dimensions, or object having only two dimensions is considered as a plane surface. So, okay, so the two dimensions may be length and width and no thickness. Or if it is a circular figure, that is a circle, semicircle, means it will have only diameter or radius, no height, only two dimensions, that is planes or plane figures. Sometimes we also call it as a lamina. Okay, so now as you know, already you know about the quadrants. So what are the four quadrants? All those things already you know it. And now let me show once again. So what are these quadrants? So here you can see here the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So these are the four quadrants. And you know how the quadrants are formed from 0 to 90 degrees, first quadrant, 90 to 180 degrees, second quadrant, and 180 to 270 third quadrant, and 270 to 360 fourth quadrant. Already you know about the quadrants. So even the topic projection of points, we place the point in different quadrants and obtain the projections. In drawing, projections means obtaining front view, top view and side view. So that is called as a projections. Okay. And similarly, in drawing we are considering or we are practicing the drawing with first angle projection. First angle projection means placing the object in the first quadrant and obtaining the projections, that is first quadrant projection or first angle projections. So now by placing the plane figures, so here plane figure means without thickness, that is very negligible thickness. So these are called as a planes. So now by placing these planes in first quadrant and obtaining the projections, that is projections of plane. Okay, right. So now you know the first quadrant is here. First quadrant, observer is always observing from the right hand side. So now object is placed in the first quadrant. And obtaining projections. So what are the positions? What are the various positions? So that a plane surface can be placed in the first quadrant. So now coming to the first position, that is plane surface parallel to HV. Already you know HV and VP. The plane which is parallel to the floor or ground, that is horizontal plane, and the plane which is perpendicular to the HV, that is vertical plane. So in future we may consider this wall or board as a vertical plane and this floor as a horizontal plane. Now this is first quadrant. So now the object, that is plane surface, can be placed in various positions. The plane surface can be placed like this. That means surface of the plane figure is parallel to HV. So in this position, parallel to HV. Okay. And another position is the surface parallel to VP and perpendicular to HP. Perpendicular. When it is parallel to one plane, automatically it is perpendicular to another plane. That is second position. And plane surface, if it is like this, that means the plane surface is perpendicular to both HP and VP. HP and VP. Right. That is also one position. And another position is the plane surface, if you observe, it is having some inclination with the HP. That is plane surface inclined to HP and perpendicular to VP. That is also one position. And another position is like this. So when the plane surface is like this, that means when the plane surface is inclined to VP and perpendicular to HP. And another position is the plane surface inclined to HP as well as inclined to VP. Inclined to HP and inclined to VP. Okay. Now we can list out the various positions so that the plane can be placed in first quadrant as number one surface perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP. The second position may be surface perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. And the third position is the surface perpendicular to both HP and VP. And the fourth position is the surface inclined to HP, and at the same time perpendicular to VP. And the fifth position is surface inclined to VP and perpendicular to HP. And the last position is the surface inclined to both the planes, that is both HP and VP. So these are the possible positions for the plane so that it can be kept the first quadrant and can obtain the projections. See, once again you can see the surface perpendicular to VP, parallel to HP. It's the surface of the plane parallel to HP, like this, parallel to HP. At the same time perpendicular to VP. Now you can imagine the board or wall as a vertical plane and the ground as a horizontal plane, that is floor as a horizontal plane. Okay, now object is in first quadrant, and it is first condition, the surface perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP. In this position, this is the position. So in this position, if you see from the top, if you view the object from the top, its view is obtained on the floor. It is obtained on the horizontal plane. The view or projection obtained when object is observed from the top, that is top view. Similarly, when the object is observed from the front, its view or image is formed on the vertical plane, that is called as a front view. Already you know it. So now in this case, that is when the surface is perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP. Now if you observe from the top, you can see the true shape or vertical shape of the object. Suppose if you observe from the front, you can see only the thickness, that is only line you can see, but you cannot see the true shape. But if it is observed from the top, you can see the top view. That means when the surface is perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP, the true shape is obtained in top view. That means true shape is obtained in That is, in first condition, we are obtaining the true shape in top view. That means you have to start the drawing with the top view, right? That is first condition. Then the second position, that is the surface perpendicular to HP and parallel to BP. Surface perpendicular to HP, at the same time parallel to BP. This is the position of the object in the first quadrant. Already you know horizontal plane and vertical plane. If you observe from the front, in the front view, that is view obtained on the vertical plane, you can see the true shape, you can see the vertical shape or true shape of the object. Okay. When the same object, if it is observed from the top on the HP, you are getting top view, but line thickness, only line thickness you are getting. That means, so when the surface is perpendicular to HP and parallel to BP, the true shape is obtained in front view. That is, in second case, the true shape is obtained in front view. That means, so when you know the true shape, then only you can start the drawing. Without knowing the true shape, you cannot start the drawing. So that's why we are giving much importance to the view in which we are getting the true shape. Okay, similar. Now coming to third position. That is surface perpendicular to both HP as well as BP. HP and BP. So in this position, if you observe from the front, you are not getting true shape, but the front view is a vertical line thickness. So line thickness. Even in the top view, if you observe from the top also, you are getting a line thickness. That means in top view also, you are not getting true shape. In front view also, you are not getting true shape. But when the object is observed from the side, you can see the true shape. That means when the surface is perpendicular to both HP and VP, the true shape can be seen in the side view. That means you have to start the drawing with the side view, the front view and the top view. Right. Now, coming to another condition, that is another position, that is surface inclined to HP. At the same time perpendicular to VP. Inclined to HP, perpendicular to VP. This is the position. You can see this position. Okay, now in this position, if you observe from the front, you will get the inclination of the surface. At what angle it is inclined to the HP, you can see. If you observe from the top, you can see the shape of the object, not true shape of the object you can see, but the shape you can see when it is observed from the top, it is not original size, not true shape. It is a foreshortened shape. That means, suppose in parallel, when it is parallel, you can see the true shape. When actually gradually angle is increasing, the shape get foreshortened. When finally it is perpendicular to HP, you will get only line. That means when the surface is inclined to HP, in front view, you are getting inclination you can see. In top view, you can see the shape of the object, but it is not a vertical shape. In this position, to start the drawing, first you should assume that the surface inclined to the HP, it was before inclination with the HP, it was parallel to HP. This is assumption. First is assumption. What assumption? When the surface is inclined to HP, before inclination with the HP, the surface was parallel to HP. When surface is parallel to HP, you can see the true shape with the top view. That means start the drawing with the top view, then draw the front view, then rotate the front view to the given angle, then finally obtain the final top view. That means when the surface is inclined to HP and perpendicular to VP. The true shape is obtained in top view by assuming that before the surface inclined to HP, it was parallel to HP. Parallel to HP means the true shape is obtained in top view. Right. Now another position, that is when the surface is inclined. You can see here when the surface is inclined with the VP. Now if you observe from the top, you can see the inclination. In the HP. You can see the inclination in the HP. That means when the surface is inclined with VP, the inclination can be seen in the HP. And when it is observed from the front, you can see the shape of the object. That means whether the shape of the object is pentagon or a triangle or a square or a rectangle or a hexagon. That shape you can see. But it is not original shape. It is also foreshortened shape. As the angle increases, finally there will be no shape at all, only line thickness. Okay, when it is parallel, we can see the true shape. So here also we should assume that the surface of the plane before inclined to VP, it was parallel to VP. When the surface is parallel to VP, the true shape you are obtaining in front view. Then start the drawing, that is assuming, first stage assuming. Start the drawing with the front view, then top view, rotate the top view to the given angle, and finally obtain the final front view. That means finally, that is when the surface is inclined to VP and perpendicular to HP, the true shape is obtained in front view. Right? Now the last condition, that is when the surface is inclined to HP as well as inclined to VP. HP and inclined to VP. In this position, the surface is not perpendicular or not parallel to any plane, but it is inclined to both the planes. So that is when the surface is inclined to both HP and VP. So when the surface is in this condition, that is in this position, when the surface is inclined to both HP and VP, first stage you have to assume that before the surface inclined to one plane, whether it is HP or VP, you should assume before inclination of the surface with HP or VP, it was parallel to HP or VP. Okay, then you have to draw the projections, top view and front view. Then you have to rotate the front view or top view depending upon the problem condition to the given angle in the third stage. That means when the plane surfaces are placed in this position, that is when the surface is inclined to both HP and VP, problem has to be solved in three stages. First stage assumption, then second stage surface inclination with VP or HP, then third one depending upon whether the diagonal is inclined or axis is inclined or side is inclined. So whatever the condition given, so according to that you have to draw the third stage. So that is about the various positions of the planes. So that means these are the various positions by which the plane surface can be placed in first quadrant. So these are the conditions. Okay, you can note it: surface perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP, true shape is obtained in top view. When the surface is perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP, true shape is obtained in front view. When surface is perpendicular to both HP and VP, true shape is obtained in side view. When the surface is inclined to HP and perpendicular to VP, true shape is obtained in top view. When the surface is inclined to VP and perpendicular to HP, true shape is obtained in front view. When the surface is inclined to both HP and VP, true shape is not obtained in front view or top view. The problems on this position, on this condition, has to be solved in three stages. Okay, so that is about the positions of the planes. Right. So now